Hi, I'm Anna. And until I was 14, I thought my family was perfect. We didn't live in a mansion or go on fancy vacations, but we had traditions. Every Friday night was movie night. Popcorn, blankets, the same old rom-coms that my dad secretly loved more than anyone. Sundays meant pancakes, loud music, and dancing in the kitchen while Mom flipped the batter. We weren't rich, but we were happy. Or at least I believed we were. But I guess happiness doesn't always last. It started slowly. So slowly I didn't even notice it at first. Mom began spending more time in the garden, just staring at the ground without really doing anything. Dad stayed later at work. He'd come home after dinner, kiss the top of my head, and mumble,
"Long day."
but I could tell something was off. They stopped laughing together. They stopped looking at each other. One night, I woke up to voices. Not just voices, shouting. I crept down the hall and pressed my ear to their bedroom door. I couldn't make out everything, but I heard Mom say,
"You're never here anymore. It's like we don't even exist to you."
And Dad replied,
"I can't pretend everything's okay. I'm tired, Susan. I'm done."
Then, silence. A terrifying, heavy silence. The next morning, Dad was gone. Like, completely gone. His clothes were missing. His toothbrush wasn't in the bathroom. No note, no goodbye. Just gone. I stared at his empty side of the closet, waiting for someone to tell me it was a bad dream. When I asked Mom what happened, she just said,
"Your father left."
and shut the bedroom door behind her. That night, I sat on the floor outside her room, trying to process what she meant. He left? Just like that? Was it something I did? For days, I walked around in a daze. I couldn't focus at school. I snapped at my friends, and I failed my first ever math quiz. I was falling apart, but I didn't know how to talk about it. I mean, how do you tell people your dad walked out and your mom won't even talk to you about it? Then, Mom started acting weird. She dyed her hair blonde, like platinum blonde, and started wearing clothes I'd never seen her in. She got her nails done bright red and suddenly started going out at night.
"I just need a little fun."
She'd say with a smile. But it wasn't her usual smile. It was strained, like she was trying too hard to seem okay. One night, I saw a black car drop her off. A man got out, opened the door for her, and kissed her. Kissed, right there, in our driveway. I froze at the window, my stomach twisting. How could she do that? Dad had just left. Was she already dating someone? I ran to my room and slammed the door. She didn't even notice. That night, I cried harder than I ever had before. Not just because I missed Dad, but because I felt like I was losing Mom too. The next few weeks were the worst of my life. Mom kept going out, sometimes for hours, sometimes all night. She said she was
rediscovering herself.
whatever that meant. I felt like I didn't know her anymore. She didn't cook. She didn't ask how school was. She didn't even notice that I stopped going to my piano lessons. One evening, I came home and found the fridge empty and the house completely silent. No note. No message. I sat on the couch in my school uniform, waiting and waiting until it got dark. That night, I ordered pizza for myself. I was 14, but I felt like I was raising myself. At school, things weren't much better. People started noticing that I looked tired. My best friend Mia asked,
"Are you okay? You've been different."
I wanted to say everything. I wanted to scream, "No, I'm not okay. My dad's gone. My mom's turned into a stranger. I feel invisible." But instead, I forced a smile and said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired." Because what else could I say? A few days later, something strange happened. Dad called. I hadn't heard from him in over a month, and now he wanted to meet for lunch. My heart raced the whole way to the cafe. When I saw him, he looked older, tired. But when he hugged me, I nearly cried. It was the first time I'd felt safe in weeks.
I'm sorry I disappeared.
He said quietly.
I thought giving your mom space would be best. I didn't think about how it would affect you.
I didn't know what to say. I wanted to yell at him, but I also wanted him to stay. So instead, I asked the one thing I'd been dying to know. Why did you leave? He sighed and looked down at his coffee.
Your mom and we were drifting apart for a long time. We just kept pretending. For you. But eventually, we both realized we weren't happy.
But I was happy, I said, my voice breaking. And now everything's ruined. He reached for my hand.
I know it feels like that right now, but I promise, this isn't your fault. None of this is about you. We both love you, Anna. That hasn't changed.
I wanted to believe him. I really did, but it still hurt. Even if I wasn't to blame, I still had to live with the mess. After that meeting, he started calling more often. Sometimes we'd go to the park. Sometimes just sit in his car and talk. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Meanwhile, at home, Mom stayed unpredictable. One night, she burst into my room with shopping bags.
I got you some clothes. Want to try them on?
I blinked, confused. This was the first time she'd paid attention to me in weeks. We sat on my bed, and I tried on a hoodie she bought. It was nice. And for a second, it felt like the old days. But then she said something that changed everything.
You're okay, right? With me moving on?
I froze. Moving on? I asked. Is that what this is? You dating some random guy while I sit home alone? She blinked at me, clearly stunned.
I didn't know you felt that way.
Of course you didn't, I snapped. You haven't even asked. That night, we had our first real fight. And maybe it was necessary. Because for the first time, Mom listened. After our fight, the silence between me and Mom lasted for 3 days. Awkward, heavy silence. Like we were both afraid of what would happen if we spoke first. Then, one night, I walked into the kitchen and found her sitting at the table with 2 mugs of hot chocolate, my favorite. She looked up at me, her eyes tired but soft.
Can we talk?
She asked. I nodded and sat down. She took a deep breath.
I'm sorry, Anna. I've been so caught up in my own feelings that I didn't see how this was affecting you. I thought I was doing what I needed to do to heal, but I didn't realize I was leaving you behind.
That cracked something inside me. I looked down at my mug and whispered, "It just felt like I lost both of you." Mom reached for my hand.
I'm still here, and I'm going to do better. I promise.
We sat in silence for a moment, but this time it wasn't heavy. It felt safe. After that, things didn't magically become perfect, but they changed. Mom started making dinner again, sometimes just frozen pizza, but she made an effort. She checked in with me, helped me with homework, and even joined me for movie night on Fridays. Just the 2 of us, curled up under a blanket like old times. And Dad? He kept calling. Every week. Sometimes we'd meet for lunch. Sometimes we'd just text. Eventually, he invited me to visit his new apartment. It was small and kind of messy, but it had photos of me on the wall. He'd even framed a crayon drawing I made when I was 6.
I never stopped being your dad,
He said.
and I never will.
I smiled. I know. A few months later, things felt balanced. Not like before, but in a new way. Mom sat me down one Saturday and said,
I'm not seeing that guy anymore. I realized I needed to work on being your mom first.
and for the first time in a while, I believed her. That summer, we took a small trip, just me and Mom. We drove to the lake where she and Dad had taken me when I was little. We skipped stones, took silly selfies, and ate too much ice cream. It was the first time I'd laughed so hard I cried. I still miss the way things used to be. But I also realized something important. Families don't have to look perfect to be filled with love. I used to think divorce meant the end of everything. But it wasn't. It was the end of something, yes, but also the beginning of something new. Harder, yes. Messier, definitely. But honest. Real. And I stopped blaming myself, because I finally understood my parents splitting up wasn't my fault. It was about them, their choices, their pain, not me. What mattered was what we chose to do next. And we chose to keep loving each other, even in our own separate ways.